Hello, warriors. I haven't checked in with you for a couple of weeks, so I thought that I would show you my face in another pair of pajamas, story of my life. I'm actually in bed again. And I just thought I would check in and see how you are. I hope you're all keeping well in this chaotic world that we live in at the moment. Cardiff is back in lockdown, so I live in Cardiff. So as of 6 p.m. yesterday, we are back in lockdown. So it's all a little bit weird actually, and I think this year has been particularly weird, which is not helpful, I think, for people that are going through other things. So I thought I would check in with you really and just update you on how I've been. So I am now 6 weeks in on this new treatment. Um, as I said before, I have the estrogel. I'm having 4 pumps of that now a day. And that's a fair amount of gel, you know. It's going on my thighs and it started going on my arms. Way too much for that. So it's going on the tops of my legs. And I have the progesterone tablet, suppository rather, which is the body identical, which I take for 2 weeks. So I'm actually on day 3, I think, or day 4 of my second cycle of it. So I just update you really. Now, my migraines, I'm not going to lie, for the first 3-4 weeks, there was not massive amount of changes. 3 weeks, I would say, not massive amount of changes. And you know what it's like. I think when we're going through this, we're hopeful for change because you want to feel better. So it was quite slow, actually. The progress on it was quite slow. But it's been worth the wait because I think my fog have lifted massively. So I'm able to kind of think and see much clearer than I could, because the fog is just, it's really difficult to kind of function, if I'm honest. So having that reduced massively kind of helps me function. My flushes have reduced. And as a result, that's reduced my migraines. So, as I keep moaning on and on and on, that for me, it's the migraines that are just my issue massively. Is life debilitating, that and the anxiety. So having less flushes have meant that I've reduced my migraines, which means that I'm able to function better, which meant that I've actually gone back to work and I've done 2. This will be third full week this week going back into my office. Because the first time in 19 years, I keep saying, I didn't even make it in my office. It was really bad actually from kind of March, end of March, beginning of April onwards. I was just deteriorating daily. So it's really nice actually just to get in my office. What I will say is though, the anxiety is crippling. It's absolutely crippling. And for somebody that never ever dealt with anything like that before, I never had these kind of issues. I worry, but I'm a practical kind of thinker. So if something needs to be done, I kind of go, oh my God, that needs to be done. Well, what can I do to resolve it? That's my kind of personality and that's the way I do things. But this anxiety you get with this, you just can't do anything because you can't think to do anything. Some days it's crippling. Today, for whatever reason, and I don't know, the anxiety is terrible. But it makes it you can't function. You know, I'm scared of what day it is. It's just a real weird thing to explain to people who've never suffered in that kind of way of how bad it is, because it really is, like, I know I keep saying it, but it's life debilitating, because it stops you from functioning and it changes the person who you are. So the anxiety is still there, the palpitations are still there, not as bad as they were. I would say that they've reduced by a good 50%, so that's a really good progress. And I still have this anxiety where my jaw is all tight and I can't swallow, and it's terrible actually. Any quiet time, my anxiety kind of takes over. Yesterday was actually the first time that I'd kind of sat still in months, and I mean literally 6+ months, because I'd been so poorly that when I took 2 weeks annual leave recently, I was poorly. So even if I wasn't on annual leave, I wouldn't have been working. I was that poorly. So I did not have any time off. And like I keep saying, I got to keep my mind busy. So Sunday afternoon, yesterday afternoon, was the first time I had some quiet time. And yeah, it frazzles my brain a bit, and I got to bed about 2 o'clock this morning, which is actual progress because I haven't been getting to bed between sort of 5 and 6, so sometimes later. So that was good, but the anxiety for 2 hours was just unbearable, if I'm honest, and it's draining, it's frustrating and it's draining. But I mean, baby steps. When I look at see where I was even a month ago compared to where I am today, we're poles apart, absolutely poles apart. I couldn't even get into work. So 4 weeks ago today, I physically, when I say that to people, they have no understanding how ill I was. I physically could not work. My life was one big migraine. I woke up in the morning looking like a pink pig with a flush. I had the server flashing lights, and that went on all day. And I would have windows of maybe 15 minutes in between where I'd have moments where I'd be okay, and then migraine would come back. And this was my life cycle. It's quite sad. And going on to that as well, right? I have to tell you this. I told my friend, and she was like, "Well, where did you go? It was all exciting, but it ain't that exciting." I actually left my house last Monday for the first time on my own since probably March, which sounds like really ridiculous. And I gotta look on the funny side of it because it made me upset today in the car. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of a tear when I was thinking about it. Like, this girl that I was before was confident, she was outgoing. She would drive 20,000 miles plus a year in a car because she would go out to clients all the time. I was constantly out doing something. I was out with people. I was, a massive social butterfly. Well, I've put my wings away because I don't go anywhere, and I've been too scared to go out because obviously I've been caught so many times with being out and having migraines that I just wasn't able to get home, that it terrifies me to leave the house. And also I can't really drive far, or I couldn't, because the gaps in between the migraines wasn't long enough for me to really do anything. So it really restricted my life and what I could do. So because I started feeling a bit better, one of my lovely, lovely clients, PT's an elderly gentleman, and I just love him. He's like everybody wants their grandpa to be. So I went out to pick up paperwork for him. Now, the truth of it is, it's only about 7 miles from my house. So listen, let's not do a twill. I never drove to London to see the Queen. But I've not left my house in 6 months on my own because my husband wasn't home either. My husband's, as I said, he's a head teacher, so he's back in school. So I didn't have that safety net here to kind of pick me up. So I left the house full of anxiety. I missed the turn into his house off the roundabout, and I think it was where my head was kind of a little bit fuzzy because I was a bit scared of being out in case something went wrong. But it was fine. I turned around, I got to the house, I got home in one piece, and I did a whole journey by myself. So it wasn't far, it was probably about 15 miles in total, but it's 15 miles more than I've done for a long, long time. So that's progress. But like I said, to put that in perspective, to go from traveling sort of 20,000 miles plus a year to then travel, not actually go out in a car for 6 months and then actually travel 15 miles and think that's an achievement. That just shows how severe things have become, actually, as I started going through this menopause process. So it's quite scary, really, to think that this is the place that we're at. Now, the other thing that I will say is that my lovely, lovely friend Lorna, she is so thoughtful. I have to say this. She's one of those friends that always sends me presents that at least when I least expect it, but it is always something so useful that I didn't know I needed until I had it. Or something like really cute, like I bake, and she sent me bowls with my name on, and baking by Sammy is the cutest things, and I use it all the time. So randomly, my lovely friend Lorna just sent me a gift in the post. So I'm going to share this with you, and I'm not advertising anything. I keep saying that. This is just something I'm using. So she sent me this Menomagic. So every day, my daily routine is I take Menopause Plus. So I take that every single day. I don't know whether it's doing anything for me, but it has vitamins in, and I'm sure it got to do more harm, more good than harm. So I'm going to be taking them, even though they're a bit pricey. But I think it's got to be worth it if they're doing something. So I take that. I take my Estrogel, obviously the progesterone for 2 weeks a month. And my lovely friend sent me this. Now, this is to help with flushes. So it's skincare to maintain you through the menopause. Now, this is a cream that I rub on the inside of my wrist before I go to bed, and it's supposed to help you with the flushes. Now, I had this cream as a gift around about the same time as I was changing my medication. So I know that every single little bit is a bit of a puzzle, so it's not something on its own. But what I will say is that up until probably a week or so ago, I can't tell you how hot I was. I was changing my bed every single day. I wasn't changing my bed. My husband was changing my bed because he's a soldier. My husband stripped this bed every single day, and we have got uh, like a hotel, like a mattress protector, but a nice one on top of the bed. Even that, everything was coming off and being washed every single day, and that's no exaggeration. If I had one day a week that it wasn't washed, that one day would be a big bonus. It was every single day. So I use this cream every single night. So I put a bit on before I go to bed. And obviously, as I said, I'm taking the other stuff. And I would say the last week or so, um, yeah, I'm not waking up and having to go on the other side of the bed, where this side of the bed is so wet that you can't even lie on a pillow. So, I think all told, that got to be progress. And like I said, I'm not recommending anything, and it might not work for everybody, but this was something I never heard of, and it does cool my. I don't know whatever's in it, but it does cool my body down as I'm going to sleep. Because sometimes when I'm lying in the night, that's when I kind of tend to notice the flushes more, and the anxiety, because I think that when you're having still time, you have more time to think about these things. So all in all, I would say the last 2 weeks have been, I would say, a 6 out of 10, sometimes maybe a 7, and that's amazing. Now, some days have been a 3. I'm not gonna lie, I've had days where, for whatever reason, I've woken up and I've had days where I've had migraine episodes throughout the day and 2 big migraines. So I have had, I think, the odd day or so in between these 2 weeks where it hasn't been great. But I think if I look at overall to where I was, listen, I don't want to be where I was before. Like, listen, we're not allowed out anyway. So I'm quite happy staying at home here, locked in my little cabin. So that's good for me. But being able just to work, being able to function, and actually wanting to interact with people, because I kind of lock myself in a hole where I don't even want to speak to people. People text me and I don't want to text people back, and I can't explain it to you. I'm just so in my own headspace that it's really difficult to get out of sometimes. So it's good to actually want to be doing things and want to be out. I know it's actually my birthday tomorrow, so I had just only a small get together, legal, may I add, on Saturday, with my Golden Girls, and it was just lovely, and I really had fun, and it was just nice to spend time, and I actually forgot about things for a couple of hours, and I haven't done that for a long time. So that to me is progress. Just getting the level of normality is just progress. So I've bored you enough, ladies. I will check in with you now in another sort of 2 weeks or so. I hope you're all doing well. I really hope you're doing well. And like I keep saying to you, if you're feeling poorly, I know, I get it. I'm still going through it myself. There is support out there for you. If your GP is not helping you and you're just going down this route of HRT, please, please, please find a consultant in your area that can help you. I just wish I would have done that a long time ago. I just think that this is the most hopeful I felt in 4 years, and I think that I think hope is all I need, really, just to get me through this phase to the next phase, because it's been a sad old time. So I'll leave you on that note, warriors. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all keeping well, and keeping your loved ones safe during this crazy, crazy time. I'm sending you love and light. Peace out.